At dinner, my daughter said, "I'm so excited for the beach trip." My sister smirked and said, "Sweetie, that trip's just for the real family." Everyone laughed. I didn't. I helped her with her jacket and we left. 4 days later, the resort emailed, "Payment declined." My mom called 17 times. I texted back. My daughter Lily was practically vibrating in her chair at Sunday dinner when she announced, "I'm so excited for the beach trip." My sister Monica smirked, that specific smirk I'd seen 1,000 times before, and said, "Sweetie, that trip's just for the real family." The table erupted in laughter. My mother, my father, even my brother Derek couldn't hide his grin behind his napkin. I didn't laugh. You know what's funny? I'd been paying into the family vacation fund for 8 months. $200 a month directly from my account. I'd seen the spreadsheet Monica made, the one with the resort details, the activities, the meal plans. Lily's name was on it. Room assignments and everything. But apparently we weren't real family. The laughter continued around me like I was invisible. My mother wiped tears from her eyes, actual tears from laughing so hard at my daughter's hurt feelings. Derek raised his wine glass like Monica had just delivered the punchline of the century. I stood up calmly, the chair scraping against my parents' hardwood floor. The sound cut through the laughter just enough for everyone to notice. "Lily, get your jacket, sweetheart." My daughter looked confused, her little face scrunched up in that way that meant she was trying not to cry. "But Mommy, we haven't had dessert yet." "We'll get something better," I said, helping her down from her chair. Monica rolled her eyes. "Oh, come on, Sarah. It was just a joke. You're so sensitive." "Just a joke." The same excuse I'd heard my entire life whenever someone in this family decided to use me as their personal punching bag. I helped Lily with her jacket while everyone watched in that uncomfortable silence that follows when someone doesn't play along with the fun. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the zipper up, but I kept my voice steady. "We're going to get ice cream, baby." She looked up at me with those big brown eyes, her father's eyes, the ones my family loved to point out whenever they wanted to remind me of my mistakes. "Mommy, why did Aunt Monica say that? How do you explain cruelty to a 7-year-old? Do you think I handled that moment right?" My mother finally spoke up. "Sarah, don't make a scene. Monica didn't mean anything by it." I looked at her, really looked at her. At the woman who'd thrown me a baby shower when I was pregnant, then spent the next 7 years making little comments about girls who get themselves into situations. At the woman who posted pictures of Derek's kids all over Facebook with captions like, "My precious grandbabies," but had maybe 5 photos total of Lily. "Have a nice dinner," I said and walked out. 4 days passed. 4 days of silence from my so-called family. No apology text. No, we were just joking phone call. Nothing. I went to work. I picked Lily up from school. I made dinners and checked homework and read bedtime stories. Life continued like that horrible Sunday dinner had never happened. Except it had happened. And I couldn't stop replaying it in my head. Then on Thursday afternoon, my phone lit up with an email notification from Seabreeze Resort and Spa. Subject line: "Payment declined, reservation cancellation warning." I was standing in the pickup line at Lily's school when I opened it. The email was professional, apologetic even. They'd attempted to charge the card on file for the beach house rental, a 5-bedroom oceanfront property, for the week of July 15th, and the payment had been declined. If the issue wasn't resolved within 48 hours, they'd have to cancel the reservation. I stared at that email for a full minute before it clicked. Monica had put the beach house deposit on my credit card. The one I'd given her for emergencies, when she was going through her divorce last year. The one she apparently never removed from her online payment profiles. The one I'd canceled on Monday morning, right after I'd stopped crying long enough to think straight. A laugh bubbled up in my throat. Not a happy laugh. Something darker, more satisfying. 17 missed calls from my mother appeared on my screen within the next hour. 17. I watched them come in one after another while I made Lily her after-school snack. Finally, a text: "Sarah, call me right now. There's a problem with the beach house." I texted back exactly 5 words: "Book it without us." My phone immediately rang again. I silenced it and handed Lily her apple slices. "Mommy, who keeps calling?" "Nobody important, baby." See, here's what my family didn't know about me. I'd been the backbone of every single family event for the past decade. I coordinated. I paid. I showed up. I smoothed over every argument and baked every birthday cake and remembered every anniversary. I was the one who organized Mom's surprise 60th birthday party. I was the one who paid for Dad's new golf clubs as a family gift. I was the one who drove 3 hours each way to pick up Derek when his car broke down last winter. And they thought I wasn't real family? The texts kept coming. Derek chimed in, "Come on sis, don't be like this." Mom's really upset. Monica, it was a joke. Why are you being so dramatic? Dad, your mother has high blood pressure. Stop stressing her out. Stop stressing her out. That's rich, isn't it? Oh, I was about to show them just how real I could be. You're probably wondering what I did next, aren't you? Let me tell you, it involved that vacation fund, a very detailed spreadsheet of my own, and a conversation with my grandmother that changed everything. But before I get to that, I need you to understand something. This wasn't just about one comment at one dinner. This was about years of being treated like the family ATM while being excluded from the family circle. Years of watching Monica get praised for her independence, while I got criticized for my choices. Years of my parents babysitting Derek's kids every weekend while being too busy for Lily. Years of being the punchline and the workhorse all at once. That night after Lily fell asleep, I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop and did something I should have done years ago. I started writing everything down. Every payment. Every favor. Every time I showed up and they didn't. The numbers were staggering. And I mean truly staggering. What I discovered in those spreadsheets. It was enough to make me physically sick. But it was also enough to give me exactly the ammunition I needed. Because here's the thing about being the sensitive one, the dramatic one, the one who can't take a joke. People underestimate you. They think you'll always roll over. They think you'll always come back. They were wrong. The spreadsheet took me 3 hours to complete. 3 hours of digging through bank statements, Venmo transactions, and old text messages where I'd agreed to help out with this or that. The total? $23,847. $23,847 over the past 3 years alone. I sat back in my chair and just stared at that number. That was a new car. That was Lily's college fund looking a lot healthier. That was a real vacation for just the two of us. Not a family trip where I'd end up cooking and cleaning while everyone else relaxed. My phone buzzed again. Monica, of course. Sarah, I don't understand why you're doing this. The resort needs payment by tomorrow or we lose the deposit. Can you please just call Mom back? I took a screenshot of my spreadsheet and texted it to her. No words. Just the numbers. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Then, what is this? Everything I've paid for over the last 3 years. Thought you might want to see what the fake family has contributed. The dots appeared and disappeared for a solid 2 minutes. No response came. Do you think that was too harsh? Because honestly, I was just getting started. Friday morning, I called my grandmother. My dad's mother, the only person in this family who'd never treated me like I was less than. Gram was 83, sharp as a tack, and didn't tolerate nonsense from anyone. Sweetheart, she answered on the second ring. I was just thinking about you and little Lily. How are my girls? Okay, Gram. But I need to talk to you about something. I told her everything. The dinner. The comment. The laughter. The beach house situation. I even told her about the spreadsheet, though I could barely get through that part without my voice cracking. The silence on the other end lasted so long I thought we'd been disconnected. Gram. I'm here, baby. Her voice had gone cold in that way that meant someone was about to get a piece of her mind. And I'm furious. Absolutely furious. Your mother called me yesterday, you know. Crying about how you're ruining the family vacation. She didn't mention what Monica said to Lily. Funny how that detail got left out. I'm tired, Gram. I'm so tired of being treated like this. Then stop letting them treat you like this, she said firmly. You're my granddaughter and you're worth 10 of them on their best day. Now here's what we're going to do. What Gram told me next made me smile for the first time in days. See, my grandmother wasn't just sharp, she was strategic. And she had resources that my parents seemed to have forgotten about. By Friday afternoon I had a plan. A good one. Saturday morning my mother showed up at my apartment unannounced. I saw her car pull up through my window and took a deep breath before answering the door. We need to talk, she said, pushing past me into my living room without waiting for an invitation. She looked exhausted, her hair not quite as perfectly styled as usual. This has gone far enough, Sarah. Has it? I crossed my arms and stayed by the door. Because from where I'm standing it hasn't gone far enough. Don't be childish. Monica feels terrible about what she said. Does she? Because she hasn't said that to me. She hasn't apologized. None of you have. My mother waved her hand dismissively, like my feelings were a fly buzzing around her head. It was a joke that didn't land. You know how Monica is. She has a sharp sense of humor. No, Mom. She has a cruel sense of humor. There's a difference. And you all laughed. You laughed at your granddaughter's hurt feelings. We did not, she stopped, caught in the lie. We were laughing at Monica's timing, not at Lily. That's worse. You know that's worse, right? She sat down on my couch without being asked, rubbing her temples. The beach house is going to cost us an extra $2,000 if we have to book it now without the early reservation discount. Your father is beside himself. Derek's kids have been asking about the trip every single day. Monica already bought new swimsuits for everyone. Sounds like a you problem, I said calmly. Her head snapped up. Excuse me. I said sounds like a you problem. You want the beach house? Book it. Use the family vacation fund. Oh wait, I smiled and I could feel how cold it was. I was contributing 40% of that fund, wasn't I? That might make things tight. Sarah Marie. Don't Sarah Marie me. I'm 32 years old, not 12. I walked over and sat in the chair across from her. Let me ask you something, Mom. Do you know how much money I've given this family over the past 3 years? She looked uncomfortable. We don't keep track of things like that. Family helps family. $23,847. The color drained from her face. That's just what I could document easily, I continued. That doesn't include things like gas money for all the times I drove to help you, or the groceries I bought for family dinners, or the birthday presents I bought, from all of us, that I paid for entirely myself. Should I keep going? That's not fair. We've helped you too. Have you? I leaned forward. Name one time in the past year you've helped me with anything. One time you babysat Lily without making me feel like I was asking for a kidney. One time you defended me when Monica or Derek made a comment about my life choices. She opened her mouth, closed it, looked away. That's what I thought. Imagine sitting across from your own mother and watching her realize she couldn't come up with a single example. How would that make you feel? We love you, she finally said, and her voice cracked a little. You're our daughter. Then why don't you treat me like it? She didn't have an answer for that either. After she left, empty-handed and clearly shaken, I called Graham back. How'd it go? She asked. Phase 1 complete. She knows I'm serious now. Good. Now let's move to phase 2. I've made some calls, sweetheart. Very interesting calls. Did you know your father took out a loan against my name last year? Oh, he had permission technically, but he told me it was for home repairs. Turns out it was for Derek's business venture. The one that failed spectacularly. My jaw dropped. Are you serious? Dead serious. And I'm about to make things very interesting at Sunday dinner. Think you and Lily can come? I promise this time nobody's laughing at my great-granddaughter. What happened at that Sunday dinner? Oh, you're going to want to hear this. Because Graham didn't just show up. She showed up with documentation, a lawyer friend, and a speech that made my father turn the color of a tomato. But that's not even the best part. The best part is what Monica did when she realized her little empire was crumbling. And what I did in response. Let's just say the beach trip ended up happening after all. Just not the way anyone expected. Sunday dinner at my parents' house felt like walking into a trap. But I had Graham on my side, and that woman was a force of nature in sensible shoes and pearls. You look nervous, Lily said as we pulled up to the familiar driveway. Just excited, baby. Great Graham has a surprise for everyone. What I didn't expect was to see an unfamiliar silver Mercedes parked in front of the house. Graham pulled up right behind me in her Buick, and when she got out, she wasn't alone. A tall woman in an immaculate navy suit stepped out carrying a leather briefcase. Sarah, this is Patricia Okonkwo. She's a family attorney and an old friend from my bridge club. I blinked. Graham, I thought you were joking about bringing a lawyer. Do I look like I joke about disrespect? Graham's eyes sparkled. Now come on. Let's go educate your family about consequences. The look on my mother's face when we walked in was priceless. She'd clearly been expecting me to show up alone and apologetic. Instead she got me, Graham, Lily, and a lawyer. Mom, my father stood up from the couch. What's going on? Who's this? This is Patricia, Graham said cheerfully, settling into the good chair, Dad's chair, like she owned it. She's here to witness a family meeting. Sarah, sweetheart, why don't you get Lily set up with those toys in the guest room? Adults need to talk. I'd barely gotten Lily situated when I heard Monica's voice from the living room, sharp and irritated. This is ridiculous. We don't need a lawyer for a family discussion. I walked back in to find everyone assembled. Mom and Dad on the love seat, Derek and his wife Ashley on the couch. Monica perched on the armchair looking like she'd rather be anywhere else. Patricia sat with perfect posture, her briefcase open, a legal pad in front of her. But here's the unexpected part. Monica's phone buzzed. She glanced at it and her face went absolutely white. Something wrong, dear? Graham asked sweetly. No, nothing. Work thing. But Monica's hands were shaking. Let's start simple, I said, pulling out my phone and connecting it to my parents' TV. My spreadsheet appeared on the screen. This is what I've contributed to this family over the past 3 years. I watched their eyes scan the numbers. The payments. The transfers. Everything. $23,000, I said quietly. That's what fake family looks like apparently. Nobody said you were fake family, Mom protested weakly. Monica did. At dinner. In front of my daughter. And you all laughed. Ashley, Derek's wife, shifted uncomfortably. Derek, did you know Sarah had paid for this much? Derek looked genuinely shocked. Some of it, yeah, but not all of it. Graham stood up. Here's what's going to happen. Sarah's going to stop being your personal bank account. Patricia has helped me draft a family agreement. You're all going to sign it. An agreement to what? My father's face was red now. To treat Sarah with basic respect and repay what you owe her. At least half. We're being generous with the other half. Patricia slid papers across the coffee table to each of them. This is insane, Monica said, but her voice lacked its usual confidence. Her phone buzzed again. Is it? Graham looked at my father. Robert, want to tell everyone what you used my loan for? The one you said was for the new roof. My father's face went from red to purple. Because I found out it wasn't for the roof. It was for Derek's pressure washing business. The one that went bankrupt in 6 months. The one that lost $40,000 of my money. Derek's head snapped toward Dad. You told me that was your money. It was a family investment, Dad started. In your son, yes. Funny how you had $40,000 for Derek's failing business but couldn't help Sarah with a single car payment when hers broke down last year. The room went silent. Do you think they had any idea how deep this went? And Monica, Graham continued, want to tell everyone why you're so anxious about that phone? Monica's eyes went wide. I don't know what you're talking about. Really? Because your ex-husband sent me some interesting financial records. Seems you've been telling everyone he was behind on child support when really, you've been taking the kids' college fund money for cosmetic procedures and designer handbags. My mother looked shocked. Monica, is that true? Curtis is a liar. He has bank statements, Graham said calmly. Screenshots of your texts admitting to it. He could take this to a judge. Or you could start being honest with this family. Monica stood up abruptly. I don't have to listen to this. Sit down, my mother said, her voice harder than I'd ever heard it. Sit down. Monica sat. Patricia pulled out another document. Mrs. Patterson, did you know your husband has a second mortgage on this house? One he took out 8 months ago. My mother's face crumbled. What? My father wouldn't meet anyone's eyes. Derek leaned forward. Dad, where's the money? And that's when the doorbell rang. We all froze. My mother went to answer it, and when she came back, her face was ashen. Behind her walked a woman I'd never seen before, mid-40s, wearing scrubs like she'd just gotten off a nursing shift. Robert, she said quietly. We need to talk. I can't keep waiting. The room exploded. My mother started crying. Derek jumped up demanding answers. Monica's phone clattered to the floor. Me. I just stood there watching my father's secret unravel. The woman's name was Diana. And the money from the second mortgage? It had been going to support her 4-year-old son. My father had another child. One none of us knew existed. What happened next turned Sunday dinner into Sunday night. And by the time it was over, every single person in that room had their secrets exposed, including one about me that I'd been keeping for 7 years. One about Lily's father that was about to make everyone understand why I'd been so guarded all this time. Think you can guess what it is? The silence after Diana's revelation felt like it lasted forever. My mother just stared at my father, tears streaming down her face. Derek looked like he'd been punched. Robert, my mother's voice was barely a whisper. Tell me this isn't true. My father finally looked up and I saw genuine shame. Linda, I can explain. Explain that you have a 4-year-old child with another woman? Explain where our money went. Diana shifted uncomfortably by the door. I didn't come to cause problems. I came because Marcus needs surgery and Robert promised he'd help, but he hasn't answered my calls in 3 weeks. Because I don't have it. My father exploded. Derek's business ate through everything. Don't blame me, Derek stood up. You told me to expand. Graham cleared her throat. Sit down. All of you. Something in her voice made everyone obey. Here's what I've learned, Graham said. Robert took a second mortgage for his secret child. Monica's been stealing from her own children. Derek's business failed because he had no plan. And Linda, you've been so desperate for a perfect family that you've ignored every red flag for years. My mother sobbed into her hands. But Sarah, Graham turned to me and I felt my stomach drop. You're not entirely innocent either, are you? The room's attention shifted to me. 7 years ago, you told this family that Lily's father was some random guy who wanted nothing to do with her. That's not true, is it? My heart pounded. Graham, please. Monica leaned forward. What are you talking about? I took a deep breath. Lily's father didn't abandon us. His name is James Patterson. Dad's nephew. Your nephew, Mom. You could hear a pin drop. We met at Uncle Tim's funeral. When I got pregnant, James wanted to be involved. He wanted to marry me. But I said no because I knew what this family would say. I knew you'd judge me. So I told him to stay away. Derek's face went pale. James? He's been asking about you for years. Because I let you think he was a deadbeat, I said. It was easier than dealing with your judgment. My mother looked stricken. Sarah, we would have been supportive, like when I kept the baby. I heard you tell your friends I ruined my life. Do you think I was wrong to hide this? James has been paying child support this entire time. Generous support. And last month I finally said yes to letting him be part of Lily's life. Monica's eyes narrowed. If he's been paying you, why did you borrow from us? I didn't borrow. You needed me to lend money. Every dollar James gave went into Lily's college fund. I paid for your emergencies with my own money because I thought that's what family did. Graham smiled. Tell them the rest. James is a software engineer. He makes good money. 2 weeks ago he asked if we could try to make things work. I said yes. We're moving in together next month. And that beach trip you were planning? James already booked us Disney World. First class. We leave in 2 weeks. The look on Monica's face was priceless. So you've been struggling lending us money and the whole time, Derek started. I had a partner who wanted to help. Yes. But I was too scared of what you'd say. My mother stood suddenly. Diana, please stay. Marcus is part of this family now. My father looked at Diana desperately. I do want to help. Maybe you start by being honest, Graham said. All of you. We all sat there in the wreckage of our secrets. So what now? Derek finally asked. Good question. What do you think should happen? I'd gotten my revenge. Exposed their hypocrisy. Found my way back to James. I could walk out and never look back. But Lily had just found out she had a half-uncle. And Diana was just trying to help her son. I thought about what kind of person I wanted Lily to see me be. Now, I said slowly, we figure out how to actually be a family. A real one. No more secrets. No more using each other. And we start with helping Marcus get his surgery. My father looked up, hope flickering. You do that. I'm not doing it for you. I'm doing it for that little boy who didn't ask for any of this. Just like Lily didn't ask for any of this. What happened after that involved James coming to the next family dinner, real apologies, and a beach trip that actually brought healing. But let me tell you how it all ended. 3 months later, things looked completely different. Marcus got his surgery. James and I split the cost with my parents, who took out a payment plan to cover their half. My father started therapy. So did my mother. Separately at first, then together. Diana became a regular at family dinners. It was awkward at first, painfully awkward, but Lily adored her little half-uncle Marcus, and kids have a way of making adults behave. Monica signed the repayment agreement. She's been paying me back $200 a month, and honestly, I think the humility has been good for her. She apologized to Lily directly, got down on her level and everything. It wasn't perfect, but it was real. Derek's been helping James with some weekend projects at our new house. Turns out they actually get along. Who knew? The beach trip did happen eventually, but not the original one. We all went together, all of us, including Diana and Marcus and James. 2 beach houses instead of 1. My parents paid for theirs, James and I paid for ours. Separate but together. I watched Lily build sandcastles with Marcus while James grilled burgers, and my father actually played in the waves with the kids instead of sitting under an umbrella with his phone. Monica even sat next to me one evening watching the sunset. I was jealous, she said quietly. Of you. Always have been. I looked at her, surprised. Of me. You always knew who you were. Even when we made you feel small, you never actually became small. I hated that. And I hated that I couldn't be like that. It wasn't a perfect apology. But it was honest. Do you think people can really change? Graham passed away 2 months after that beach trip. Peacefully in her sleep, the way she would have wanted. At her funeral, my father stood up and gave a speech about how she'd saved our family by refusing to let us keep lying to each other. She left me a letter. In it she wrote, "The strongest thing you can do is set a boundary. The bravest thing you can do is enforce it. But the most loving thing you can do is leave the door open for people to become better. You did all 3, sweetheart. I'm so proud of you." I read that letter to Lily when she's old enough to understand what it means to be both strong and kind. James and I got married last spring. Small ceremony, just family. My father walked me down the aisle and cried the whole way. My mother helped Lily with her flower girl dress and didn't make a single comment about my choices. Monica caught the bouquet and actually laughed about it. We're not perfect. We still argue. My mother still occasionally oversteps. Derek still asks for favors. But now there's honesty. There's respect. There are boundaries that actually mean something. And when Lily asks me about family, I can tell her the truth. That family isn't about being perfect, it's about being willing to do better. Last Sunday we had dinner at my house. My house with James and Lily and me. Everyone came. Even Diana and Marcus. We sat around my table eating food we'd all contributed to, and nobody made a single cruel joke. Nobody laughed at anyone's expense. Nobody felt like fake family. My mother looked at me across the table and smiled. A real smile, not a perfect one. "This is nice," she said simply. And it was. So that's my story. It started with a cruel comment at a dinner table and ended with a different kind of dinner table entirely. It wasn't easy. It wasn't quick. But it was worth it. If you enjoyed hearing about my journey, I'd love if you'd give this a like. And if there's something you didn't like, or if you have your own story about setting boundaries with family, please share in the comments. I read every single one. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. And remember, you deserve to be treated like real family because you are.